So in the midst of me challenging him and asking him questions, which, by the way, if you've encountered Muslims in the West, they tend to be very, very informed on how to challenge Christians in their faith. So I was not an anomaly. When I was challenging him in his faith, 9/11 happened. And then he started asking me questions. He said, Nabil, how can you say Islam's a religion of peace? And I'd give him the spiel. And then he'd say, yeah, Nabil, I get that. I get what you're saying, but what about those verses in the Quran that those terrorists are reciting? What about those teachings of Muhammad's life that they're referring to? And I would do whatever I could. I would read defenses that my teachers and my imams gave me, and I would ask the scholars around me, how do I respond to his questions? And I'd give him the responses. But as he was asking these questions, now I was also internally beginning to wonder as well, is what I have been taught, is what I have been received true? Or is there more to this story? What's the second most common argument I see for the inspiration of the Quran? The second most common argument I see for the inspiration of the Quran is that there are scientific miracles found in the Quran. In other words, there's such advanced science found in the Quran that it could not have been written by a man who was just a man, who only had human knowledge. Either he had prophetic knowledge, thereby making Muhammad the prophet, or the Quran is inspired by Allah, and so you have the inspiration of the Quran. And the arguments that are used is, for example, the Quran has miraculous knowledge about the oceans. The Quran has miraculous knowledge about the atmosphere. The Quran has miraculous knowledge about X, Y, and Z. I believed this as a Muslim. In fact, there's a whole book published on this by a French physician named Maurice Bussai, and it's called The Quran, the Bible, and Science. Anecdotally, I've heard, and from my own experiences, that 70% of people who leave Islam and come to Christ had a dream of some sort, because that's how they're expecting God to speak with them. And it's not a misplaced expectation. My dad received plenty of prophetic dreams when I was a kid. My mom received plenty of prophetic dreams when I was a kid. We often knew what was going to happen because of these dreams. I'm not here to speculate why we got those dreams, but that is just what happened. So I asked God to guide me through visions and dreams, and ultimately God gave me a vision in 3 dreams, which showed me that Christianity was the truth, that the gospel message was the true message. I wish I could go into the details, but we don't have time right now. So after doing all this studying first for years, it brought me to the altar of Christ, and then I started asking for dreams and visions, and he gave me dreams and visions, placing me right in the middle of a biblical parable I had never read. But you can't just convert